Well, hello, friends, neighbors. John, your neighbor here. Welcome down the Nook. It's Sunday. And while I'm slightly under the weather, I've got a couple of samples here of Australian whiskey that I want to talk to you about. I haven't had a lot of Australian. In fact, I can't recall having Australian whiskey. Andrew over at, boy, what's his handle? Prestige Liquids is always talking about, because he's in Australia, Starward and a few others. These samples here are Morris, I believe I'm saying that, or Morris, Morris, Morris single malt. They're from Australia. They are given to me, these from Cam, from PWC Import, so thank you, Cam. And I've got their regular, and then I've got one that's finished in a Muscat barrel, fortified wine barrel. So, I don't know really much about it, so we'll just talk to liquid. We'll nose and taste. So if you've got any of this Morris or any Australian single malt, why don't you pour some? Come on back. 3, 4. Well, as I said in the opener, these are going to be from PWS Imports. I think maybe they're bringing it in. But the first one is their single malt, and it's 44%. I don't have any information about natural color or non-chill filtration, but I did, go to their website and whatnot, and I saw that they're known for being a winery, and the colors in here definitely speak to what I read as having some, X wine casking. We'll get to the one that's specifically finished in a fortified wine, but I believe this has some, X French and X American oak. But I think the the cask they use could be exclusively wine barrels. Now that I'm not sure of, and if you know more about the story, please share below. I don't want to be wrong, so we'll just talk to liquid and what I get out of it. Well, that nose, I just poured it out. It's been resting maybe 15 minutes. Is both kind of rich and soft and doughy, but also red wine, some berries, some red fruits come up pretty quick. There's a little bit of a savory spice in there. Lots of wine notes for me, like a dark wine. So there's some jam, some berry. There's a bit of a pithiness. There's, like I said, that dough. There's some biscuity. There's something going on already in the nose. I guess it's maltiness. There's some maltiness in the nose. But all kinds of savory spice, very gentle on the nose for 44%. A little Christmas cake, that kind of a sugary, fruity nature. Just try it on the palate. I'm not sure what they say. Cheers, sláinte. What do Australians say? Really continues the variety of spicing. Lots of sweet and dark cherries, slightly bitter fruits, like so a little currant in there. Wow. A little bit of cinnamon, not too peppery. Like there's a youthfulness to it. So it's hugging and actually kind of hugging my throat a little bit, which is feeling good because I got a little bit of a sore throat today, but it hasn't affected my palate, it seems. This is upfront sweet and tasty, but it's roasted, dark, little cocos, savory, and then a lot of different styles of berry. I guess it's wine grape, that kind of note. Very like mulled winey, like that kind of, what I mean is it's got that, boy, it'd be good in fall, I would think, with all these dark roasted fruit flavors. I'm liking it. Cheers. So I definitely like the different wine influence and oak influence they have on their regular single malt. This one is kicked up to 48% and specifically says that it's in the Muscat barrels. When I go to their website, they mention that it's actually a fortified wine barrel that they additionally aged this single malt in. So I believe it kind of their standard aging that then they've finished for an undisclosed length of time in that fortified wine. We'll see what that adds. Interesting. At first, I was going to say actually a little bit of souring kind of came up just right up front, but then, pushing past that, I got into like a sticky toffee pudding. I got actually a little more thickened caramel type sauce, creme brulee, that kind of. Each time I come in, it actually is a little bit sour. Yeah, this is a sweeter nose, lots of fruit. There's lots of fruit, but the first thing is sort of I would say, a soured savory, soured cherry, not off-putting sour, but there's something right up front, and then a thicker sticky toffee pudding. All right, let's try it on the palate. Cheers. That has a real juxtaposition of sweeter, just sweet, like I said, like that cooked sugar caramel sauce drizzled on a cake, like that kind of, when it's really kind of sweet. And for me, I'm reaching for a coffee to cut the sweet, like it's got that. And then it goes into a little more black tea, a little more tannic bitter, that I think might connect to that sourness on the nose. So it is both sweeter and darker at the same time. I better try another sip. Cheers. I really held on to that one to try to get into some secondary flavors. And I will say it perked up on the palate. It's actually presenting as quite spicy now, when I really, held it around, chewed through it. And it's now presenting with a serious amount of black pepper, which I wasn't getting up front, but could be there in the spirit, I suppose, if you just hang on to it longer. Of course, it's stronger at 48%, so there's just going to be some more alcohol. I definitely, in terms of approachability, if you like X wine or more commonly X sherried, I think their standard single malt, 44%, it was kind of a delight, I would say. I don't know the cost because it was given to me as a sample, so I don't know the value of it, and I apologize for that. I should have looked it up before I came on here. But I like it. I like the approach. This one, the one that's finished in the fortified wine, is definitely bolder and definitely has more spicing, more heat, and it's got that juxtaposition of sweeter and a bit of soured into it. I enjoy it. I like it. But I think this would be a little more polarizing. I think some people would really lean into some of those flavors. Others might find it a little too hot, or that sour until it becomes that sweet, not what they're looking for. So I'm not sure how to describe this. Clearly I need more time with it, or maybe if I see it around, it's a decent price, I'll bring home a bottle because it's got character. I'm not saying it doesn't have character. It just, I would say, isn't as immediately, I was going to say appealing. That's not quite the right word, but this is a much more entry, which makes sense. This is their entry. They take the same spirit and then they give it a different character with some fortified wine barrels, and it is unique. And I do like it. I don't want to say, I think some people would definitely like this more than the entrance. It's got absolute more character and certainly different layers of flavors going on. It's just in this moment, I'm not sure they're balanced. Anyways, thanks for joining me here. Thanks again, Cam from PW's Imports, for giving me samples and for you guys for bringing it in. I really appreciate that you're helping the whiskey scene in Alberta, Canada, just expand. And I want to get more Australian whiskey. I was just hearing from a few other channels, and they're able to get some more Australian whiskey, so maybe it's coming our way. Thanks for joining me here. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope the next work week that comes up treats you well. Take care.